What's up, beautiful people? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Crystal and this is Bond Book Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about all of the books that I acquired in January. So I was on a book buying ban in the year of 2021, and then I unhauled all those books that were stopping me from buying books, and now I'm like, need to go on another one already, and it's only January. In January, I've acquired 13 new books, which is not good considering that I've only read about 6, and 3 of those were actually from my physical TBR. So this whole trying to minimize my TBR down to less than 250 books isn't really happening at the moment, but that's okay. There's always next month when I'm going on a book shopping trip with one of my best friends that always encourages me to buy more books. But it's okay, there's always March. Okay, so to start this off, we are going to start off with some book mail that I received from a lovely friend of mine. I have a friend from Bookstagram named Beck, and she sent me some books that she was unhauling. So the first of this is White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. If you've seen my pick pong, you would have seen that I have this on my February TBR. So I acquired it in January and I'm reading it in February. This is record breaking, guys. I never read a book that quickly. So yes, White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. I'm going into this one pretty blind because that's what I do when it comes to a lot of books that are overhyped, because I feel if I look too much into them, then I'll be disappointed. So I'd prefer to go into them blind. But I've heard that this is kind of like a ghost story, spooky vibe, which I'm here for. And of course, Tiffany D. Jackson is an awesome writer, so it's a double win in my books. The next one she sent me is another new release, and that is Youve Reached Sam by Dustin Tao, or Tao, I think it is. I'm sorry. I am so excited for this one. It has been all over BookTok, Bookstagram, BookTube, everywhere, making people absolutely sob their eyes out. So general preface of this is that a person who has lost her significant other calls his phone to hear his voicemail one last time, and instead he picks up, and then they kind of have this whole interworld relationship experience because she's able to talk to him through his phone, which is, yeah, that's all I know. I feel that it's going to be absolutely heartbreaking, but amazing. I've heard nothing but good things. The next two she sent me was Reached and Crossed, which is book 2 and 3 in the Matched series, which I was kindly gifted last year for my birthday. So I was really excited to complete the collection and get the other 2 in the series. Even though I haven't started the first book in the series, I'm glad to have the collection completed, because most book collectors will know you like to have the full set before you even start the series, because why the hell not? The next one was an author grab for me. This came in the same box from this friend, and it was purely because Jade from JD Ray Reads has raved about this series, this author, and so I've just started collecting any book I can from this person, knowing that I will probably love it, because if Jade does, I probably will. And that is A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. The only reason she was getting rid of this is because there's some slight damage on the bottom of the book, but I don't really mind. I will read it regardless. It just looks a little loved in my eyes, so I'm not a huge person that needs my book to be perfect when it sits on the shelf. So I was happy to take it off her hands and add to my V.E. Schwab collection. Now, from what Jade has said about this series and numerous other people, all I really know is that there is like 4 different Londons, and that's about it. I have no idea. I know that there's like magic system involved. It's a fantasy. That's it. I'm going in with Jade's recommendation and trusting it, like many reads that I read. If you are here for a channel that tells you about a book in great detail, that is not me. If you want that, head to Becca's channel. Becca that does Becca's Bookopoly. Her ability to summarize books and tell you about them is just like godsend. But yes, me, I'll just give you a mess of rambles. I also managed to get off a friend The Wish by Nicholas Sparks, which completes my Nicholas Sparks collection. I have been collecting every book that Nicholas Sparks has ever written since before Bookstagram, before BookTube. Like, it's literally, he's my favorite author. I've collected every single one of his books, and I didn't have the wish, so I was really excited to get it, add it to my collection, and now I have every book he's ever written. So yeah, haven't read it. I've read all the others, but I think 3, which are on my 21 or 22 books I want to read in 2022. But yeah, this is the one that I needed to get to add to it. So that is what I've done. So The Wish, much like so many other of Nicholas Sparks', it's like a second chance romance kind of situation. We have a 16-year-old who has fallen pregnant, and she meets someone who teaches her how to take photographs, and he's not ashamed of her growing bump under her belly, a growing bump under her sweater, and they fall madly in love, and then her life gets taken elsewhere. She becomes a famous photographer, and at one Christmas, as she's sitting there showing off all of the photos that she's taken that he never saw, someone says to her, if you could wish for one thing for Christmas, what would you wish for? And her answer, her first thought is to go back to the summer with Bryce. But then she stops herself and she realizes that it might be something else she actually wishes for. So it'll be interesting to see whether she chooses Bryce or this new thing that's come along. This next one I've actually read, but I needed to add it to my collection, and that's Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Absolutely love this when I read it from the library, so I just was excited to add one to my collection so that I can have it. I've heard really bad things about Ready Player 2, but I loved Ready Player 1, so I had to get it. I couldn't not. If you are unfamiliar with Ready Player 1, it pretty much follows a main character. There's a futuristic world where you live in virtual reality, so the actual world as we know it is falling apart, it's full of rubbish. It's impossible to live in. It's absolutely disgusting. No one wants to live in the real world. So everyone lives in this virtual world where out of the blue, the owner of this world and the creator of this world says that he's willing to give it to one of the players, and there's going to be an ultimate game that will be played, and whoever solves the mystery and finds this one thing they need to find will win the universe effectively. And yeah, it just follows the one main character and his friends fighting to find this, and all this other stuff happens, and it's just really, really good. I can probably count 10 people tell me that I need to read this book. So when I saw someone was unhauling it, I had to jump on it. And that is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. Everybody has told me that this is the retelling that will be the retelling of the year for me. Everyone has said to me that if I'm going to read a retelling, this is the one I need to read, that they think I'm going to love it, that Naomi Novik is amazing and I need to read this. And yeah, so all I know is it's a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and that's enough for me because I haven't read anything like that before in terms of the retellings. I love retellings, but I haven't read one from that story yet. And I have heard nothing but good things about Naomi Novik and her writing. So when I finally managed to get a copy of this, I was super excited. Hopefully I can get it on my 2022 TBR at some point. We shall see, because there's plenty of people out there waiting for my thoughts on this one. I went to Kmart to pick up my baby order. I had like a bunch of baby stuff that I was picking up, and while I was waiting for them to grab my order from out the back, I happened to be standing next to the book section, so it would have been rude for me to not buy a couple books. So these next few are from my Kmart order, and that is A Dog's Courage, which is the third book by W. Bruce Cameron, which I absolutely loved. The other two, they made my heart hurt, and that's why I'm super excited but nervous about reading Marley and Me this month, because it's probably going to do the exact same thing that these books have done. I love stories about animals and dogs in particular, but this one is from the dog's perspective, and that is just like a twist on a story that like I really appreciate when it's from like the animal's perspective. And W. Bruce Cameron does it in a way that like you really feel like you are in the dog's mind. It's really well done. So I'm excited to continue this series and finish it off, hopefully. So yeah, I picked up book 3. The other book that I picked up from that order was Songs in Ursa Major by Emma Brody. This is because so many people have told me that if I loved, what's it called? If I love Daisy Jones and the Six, then I would love this. And I really did love Daisy Jones and the Six. I thought the audiobook for that was fantastic. I read it like 2019, I think it was, maybe. Really enjoyed it. So they said to me, like, if I enjoyed that, I would probably enjoy this. So I decided to grab it because it was on clearance for $8. So why the hell not? I think it follows a very similar kind of vibe, a 1990s band musical kind of situation. Not 1990s, 1960s. Why did I say 1990s? 1969. And it follows like a band. So I feel like it's got a very similar vibe to what Daisy Jones and the Six does, but I hear that it is different enough that it doesn't feel like a complete cop-out and follow of that story. And then I had to pick up the new Jack Heath. If you've been watching this channel for any number of months, years, time, you would know that I absolutely am obsessed with Jack Heath's writing. I absolutely love his books, and I will shout from the rooftop about his thriller books. So this is his new thriller, Kill Your Brother, which will keep me going until the next book in the series that I've been reading from him comes out. So I absolutely know nothing about this other than I have a feeling that the main character has to kill her brother to save somebody else, I think, or something, and make that decision. I don't know. I go into them too, like, super blind because I just trust that Jack Heath is going to take me on this wild ride like he has with his other books. So couldn't walk away when I saw this on the shelf. And these last two were kindly sent to me from HarperCollins. I participated in their Christmas, 12 Days of Christmas kind of promotion. And to thank me, they sent me like a box of books that were coming out in summer in Australia. And I gifted some away. I kept these two, and then others I gave to my parents. So the ones that I did keep is Love and Other Puzzles, which is by Kimberly Allsop. This one just sounds right up my alley. It's kind of like a contemporary romance with a bit of a twist that has a very odd character in it. So what she does is she uses the New York Times crossword puzzle to dictate her decisions for an entire week and see where it takes her. And I just think it's going to be hilarious. This comes out February 2022, so you probably, it'll be coming out. I'm going to say I'm pre-filming this. I'm saying this is going to be out by the time you see this. If not, it'll be coming out the week after also. So it's coming out pretty soon, around when you're seeing this video. In Australia anyways. And this next one I kept purely because so many people had been talking about it. And it doesn't come out until February as well. I don't know when, but you probably have seen it on Bookstagram, and it may end up on BookTube here as well. But it is The Maid by Nita Prowse. This is obviously an ARC copy, so it doesn't have the proper title, proper cover on it. It's a thriller that involves a maid that comes to live at a house, and apparently she's got her own secrets. And some people have said the writing is really clunky in this, so I don't know how it's going to go, but I decided to keep it and give it a shot. So I'm adding it technically to my shelf as my 13th book for the month, but we'll see whether or not it actually sticks. So there you have it, guys, the 13 new books that I've added to my shelf in January 2022. Hopefully I can get to some of these before January 2023, because I have a tendency to put books on my shelf and then they sit there for 12 months before I get to them. We know I'm getting to one in like less than 30 days, but the others will probably hang there for a while. If you have added any of these to your shelf recently, let me know. Let me know which ones you think I'm going to love the most in the comments down below. And if you have made it this far and you don't have a comment to drop, just leave a flower emoji in the comment, because You've Reached Sam has flowers on the cover. I'm getting real original with these comments with these emojis in the comments, aren't I? Until next time, guys, thanks so much for joining. Have a great weekend and happy reading.